So I've got the OnePlus X here. This is the latest in the OnePlus range. We've got the OnePlus One, the OnePlus 2, and this is the OnePlus X, which comes in at a lower price point to the other two. Still uses the Snapdragon 801, the same as the first OnePlus One. It's slightly smaller. There's a AMOLED display and a really good price. So I've got the lab test results next to me. I'm just going to show you quickly what's in the box for the OnePlus X. It's actually a really nice little box here, and colouring is quite good. I think it's quite an attractive colour combination, something slightly different. It's nice to see a coloured USB port. It's also nice to see a simple cover included in the package as well, and that's really going to help. It's a very simple colour, but it's a very important accessory for most people to give it a little bit more ruggedness and scratch resistance there. Let's take a closer look now, and I'll give you some of the specifications and of course the lab test results on the screen, the performance and the battery life. At the end of the video I'll give you our overall score and the list of pros and cons. So here it is, the OnePlus X. As I mentioned, Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor inside, and we've got a 5-inch 1920 by 1080 screen. That's an AMOLED screen, so beautiful blacks on that. Of course it's glossy, as all of the smartphones are, and it's touchscreen as well. So there's that 5-inch Full HD AMOLED display with black, so the contrast ratio is pretty high on this. I'll give you some details about the screen test results we did earlier. 16 gigs of RAM inside. On the side here we have power button, volume, rocker, and then on the other side we have a 3-position switch which allows you to set the level of notifications that you want. All notifications important or no notifications. That's a nice feature. We've got a headset port on the top. On the back we've got a 13 megapixel f2.2 camera, and this is a completely shiny back. So that little included case is going to help keep things a little bit more resistance to slipping and falling out of the hand. We've got Android 5.1.1 inside, and it weighs 138 grams, so it's not particularly light. Now the price is around 270 euros. The price is changing. Current price on the OnePlus X website is 269 euros, but you'll need to find yourself an invite to buy this. Invites are floating around. If you use your social networks, you'll probably manage to track one down. But this is not a phone you can just go and buy online. Let's have a closer look at that SIM micro SD card slot holder. And what you've got here is dual SIM possibility. So on the top here is SIM 1. On the bottom you can either put a micro SD or a second SIM card. So it can be dual SIM, but you can't have your micro SD card in there at the same time. This is the European version, so we've got LTE coverage up to Cat 4. On the Wi-Fi side of things, it doesn't support AC, so it's only a BGN Wi-Fi module. So the camera on the front is an 8 megapixel, really a selfie camera. It's got a slight soft focus and a beauty mode. The rear camera at 13 megapixels doesn't really have many options either. You get an HDR mode and a beauty mode and a clear focus mode, or a clear picture mode. There's no manual settings though. You'll find some example pictures and a couple of test cards on the full review, so check that out for more information. If you look carefully down here, you'll see there are off-screen buttons as well, so you can disable the on-screen Android buttons and use the off-screen buttons to give you a little bit more screen space. Responsiveness on the touchscreen was overall very good. Let's give you some detail on the screen there. Let's start with brightness. Center brightness was a maximum of 312 CDM, 312 nits, which is reasonable but not incredibly high. The maximum 330, so 314 in the middle, maximum of 330. Obviously you've got very black blacks on this AMOLED screen, so the contrast ratio of the screen is really quite good. Let's take a look at the color accuracy. On the colors 6.28, that's just above what we'd class as good. Anything at 5 or below is good. Anything at 3 or below is excellent. So in that list there, Microsoft Lumia 640 at 3.2 is a really good color accuracy. Grayscale's 8.24, and that's the worst of the bunch there in that comparison table. Pulse width modulation is used to adjust the brightness on this screen. 237 Hertz is the frequency we detected. Check out the website for more details on that. Let's give you some performance test results then. Let's start with Antutu Benchmark V5. Don't forget we've got a Snapdragon 801 here, so this is not a high-end Snapdragon. This is really a 2014 high-end Snapdragon, so last year's model in terms of high-end CPUs. So the OnePlus X giving you 40,256, much the same as the LG G3, which comes in at 36,792. That was a little bit slow. The original OnePlus One came in at 47,123 points, which was 70% faster. Geekbench 3, which is a very general all-round score, 913, which is better than the OnePlus One score on that 32-bit test, and also beating it on the 32-bit multi-core score as well. Let's go to 3D Mark. So look at some of the graphic performance here. OnePlus X giving you 15,000 points. OnePlus One 16,600 points. So that's a little bit up. HT1 M8 13,000. So in the same ballpark. Beating the M4 Aqua by a good margin there. We're not quite keeping up with the LG G3 and the LG G Flex 2. A quick word on the read and write speeds for the internal eMMC storage. The OnePlus X, 235 megabytes sequential read, which is very good. Go down to the 4K write speeds, also a very important score, and 14.22 megabytes is a very good score there for the storage. So the internal storage seems to be pretty fast. So I just want to talk to you about the temperatures and show you where it heats up. We ran a very long-term load test result. We found some warmth up here on the front of the device and on the back around across the the underside here. So this side of the phone getting a little bit warm, especially towards this area here. The maximum temperature was 47.5, which is noticeable. It's starting to get to the warm level as well, so not ideal in terms of temperature under long-term load there. Now let's look at the battery. We've got a 25 milliamp hour battery inside. Not the biggest battery of any smartphone, but a reasonable size battery. We put the screen brightness down to 150 nits, and we did Wi-Fi surfing test and an H.264 video playback test. 9 minutes 9 seconds Wi-Fi surfing is a good score. Big Butt Bunny H.264 video playback 8 hours 34 minutes, also a pretty good score there. So in general, battery life on the OnePlus X is pretty good. So if you fast forwarded to this pros and cons section, I'm going to give you the rundown now, the pros and cons and the final score. Stylish design and a reasonably fast processor inside. You've got expandable storage with a micro SD card slot and a reasonable speaker as well. Good battery life on the OnePlus X. On the con side of things, you've got a very glossy device, can be slightly slippery in especially cold situations, so use that supplied case to give you a little bit more friction on the back. The card tray is a little bit stiff to get in and out when cards are inside it. There's no USB Type-C here, no NFC. I'll add no USB 3 here. And the micro SD card slot wasn't that fast when we tested it. You can see the results on the full review. This is a 32-bit only processor without 64-bit support. So the OnePlus X is a well-configured mid-range smartphone at a fair price. It's not a huge bargain like the OnePlus One was last year, and if you include shipping costs and a micro SD card, you can be pushing the cost up to near to the LG Flex 2, for example. Overall though, we thought it was a good phone. We scored it 85%. You can see the breakdown of the scores across a number of categories, including keyboard connectivity, battery, weight, display, noise and camera in detail at the full review.